Hey guys, welcome in to episode 106 of the Outspoken Sportscast. Here we got your hosts Brian and Jeff on back again to this week's episode. Jeff,
What's going on? What's going on?
what is happening? It's been a beautiful vacation for me this week. We'll get into that here at the end of each segment or end of each episode. We get into what's in our locker, where me and Jeff kind of tell you about what we've been doing with our life in the last week or so. So this week's episode, guys, if you couldn't already, you probably already tell by if you just turn on the TV or any breaking news you've heard, it's going to be about NFL free agency moves, Jeff. The NFL just keeps on giving. And we've had some shockers. We've had teams not do much. We've had teams that made deals, I honestly think, just to compete with their counterparts. So it's been a lot of interesting news to try and keep up with. I'm sure Jeff, obviously a couple big moves the Denver Broncos have made.
Just a couple.
Green Bay's made a couple moves. One shocker, one fantastic move in keeping Aaron Rodgers. We'll get into all that here, but we're going to go to each division, to each team, and kind of give you our thoughts and opinions on that. And that'll pretty much take up most of the show because that's a lot to get into there. So let's jump into it. So we'll start with the AFC. The AFC stacked, Jeff. The AFC is stacked. Now, usually, the NFC has the better teams in it the last couple seasons, where you look at the playoffs and you go, any one of these teams could go. In the AFC, it's been, Kansas City is going to go, or Bills maybe, but and we did have the Bengals break out and do that, which was surprising what they did last season. But the AFC, my gosh, everyone's going to the AFC. Quarterbacks, defensive ends trying to get to the quarterbacks. I thought maybe Aaron Rodgers would be going to the AFC. So interesting moves all over the board. And first, let's start off with the Buffalo Bills, AFC East here. We'll go through the East teams and kind of give you the main points of their offseason so far, and the free agency. And look, free agency isn't over yet, Jeff. That's the crazy thing about it. We've seen so much that more could happen. This obviously the biggest one's Von Miller. Who saw Von Miller going to Buffalo? I had no idea. He flirted with Denver and coming back, and he flirted with running it back with. And he said he wanted to run it back with the Rams but look, money talks, guys. At the end of the day, money talks. The Buffalo Bills are a really good football team. They fight every year for playoffs. Josh Allen's a beast. They add Von Miller to this defense. They signed him for a 6-year, $120 million contract, $50 million guaranteed. Now, that's a lot of money to give somebody that's 33 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody's paying him that money. I don't think he's coming back to Denver and they're paying that money. I don't think the Los Angeles Rams were going to pay him that money. And no. I really honestly think for the Buffalo Bills to get him was going to take a big bag of money. I don't think he was going anywhere else other than Los Angeles or Denver. But like I said, a big bag of money will change your mind there on that one.
Yeah, this like it's interesting. I think a lot of this was Von Miller trying to figure out what he needs to do to secure his family. In the end, he has a brand new son who's, I think, about a year now. And so when he got traded to LA, his family was still here in Colorado. So he hadn't seen his son. I don't think most of the time he was in Los Angeles. So I think a lot of this is him just securing his future, making sure he gets the most money he can get before he's out. And it's possible that maybe at some point he may not finish this contract. I don't know. It's very possible. That's a long time. 6 years. He would be one of the oldest guys to play that position at that age. But ultimately, I do think that he will end up signing a 1 day or a 1 week contract with Colorado, with Denver, and retire a Bronco. That's, I think, where he wants to retire.
Oh, definitely.
So, and they'll more than likely retire his number. I'd like for them to. I think that would make sense. I don't think anyone should ever wear number 58 again. He also personally retired 58. He's not wearing it for any other team.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's really a payday for him. I don't really see him going to a Super Bowl with Buffalo. Buffalo's a great team. I don't see them.
They could get there.
They could get there,
definitely get there.
but it's not like the Rams where you kind of expected them to be there. So, I mean, I think he's getting paid, and this was a money thing. And I think he really, and it's weird, in his press conference to them, it didn't seem like he wanted to be there. It seemed like he really wanted to go to LA and try to do it again. So,
right. And that's what shocked me, is I figured it was Rams or Denver, and that was it. Yeah, but like I said, this is a 6-year deal. He's not playing all 6 years. There's no way.
No.
This is a money whip deal. He's going to get $17.5 million per year through the first 4 years. This is just, he's got nothing else to prove, this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And look, exactly. He went there just to try, help a winning team. I think the Buffalo Bills could get the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But is Vaughn going to be the same Von Miller that we've seen?
I think the first year he will be good.
Yeah.
But I think in the next year, I think year 2
in the cold
into
weather
this
too,
right. Year 2 in this contract, year 3 in this contract. Yeah. Maybe.
They also added OJ Howard, tight end from the Buccaneers. He's a pretty good tight end, so that'll help him out. That'll help out the offensive side of the football. They bring back Shaq Lawson. So their team is basically going to be whole again, bringing everyone back. So I think they're going to compete. Now, this team, though, the Buffalo Bills, was really good 2 years ago. Last year, they kind of struggled, but then when they made that playoff push, interesting for the Buffalo Bills, but very interesting to bring in Von Miller. That was a head scratcher.
Besides the Von,
really, not a head scratcher, a shocker move.
Besides the Von Miller thing, they added some offensive depth, obviously.
Yeah.
With this free agency stuff. I mean, a couple wide receivers, tight end, some other guys to shore up the offensive line. So it looks like to me, and obviously you got some defensive ends and tackles and stuff in there as well. So they kind of mixed it up a little bit, shoring up more of that offense and then bolstering up that defense a little bit more as well. I think they did the things that they needed to do. Get some more weapons for the quarterback, protect him a little bit more, and then add some decent pass rushers. They added a cornerback as well, but I think their pass rush is going to be pretty stout from what I can tell. So
yeah, they got Ed Oliver on the team as well, and yeah, Von Miller is going to come here and add to this defense, and I think it's a great pickup. That's just a lot of money for an older older pass rusher. But let's move on to Miami, Jeff. Miami's made a lot of little moves here. I wouldn't say anything fantastic. They signed Teddy Bridgewater to come in. I don't know. I guess he's going to be a backup to Tua. There's been a lot of drama with Miami being sued by what's his face? I'm drawing a blank. By their old coach, Brian Flores. Been a lot of hot water over this offseason. Talks about if Brian Flores can prove that Miami's owner did, in fact, wanting to pay Brian Flores to lose games, that could cost the Miami owner to sell his football team. There's been a lot of talk about Miami this offseason, not necessarily good. They bring in Teddy Bridgewater. Like I said, I don't know if that's to be open competition with Tua. Do they believe in Tua? Is he going to be a backup? I don't know. They brought in Chase Edmonds, running back Raheem Mostert out of 49ers is really, really good. They've added some pieces here on the linebacking spot and tight end. Nothing really fantastic. They did get Cedric Wilson from the Dallas Cowboys, which was the Dallas Cowboys' third wide receiver. He signed a 3-year, $22 million deal. So they were able to add a little bit more weapons there. And Cedric Wilson's a decent wide receiver. Do I think they got better? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think that the running back position, they got better. They added one more wide receiver. They added a couple more wide receivers here. I'm not really sure who they are, though. So we'll see. I think this team losing a coach like Brian Flores is going to hurt this team. I think he did a pretty good job there, back 2 winning seasons of his 3 years there. But I think they're going to take a step back this season, in my opinion.
I could see it happening. It's interesting because it looks like a lot of darts being thrown at the board to me.
Right.
And
Just
then hopefully some stick. I think Cedric Wilson is probably going to pan out a little bit better than some of these guys. Maybe. But I don't expect anything from the Dolphins. I don't think a lot of people do. They were in the mix for a top quarterback, and they didn't. It seems obviously at this point everybody understands that didn't happen. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know where this franchise is headed. At one point, this franchise had a very good defense. They may still have a very good defense, but it's a little bit of a lost franchise right now.
Right. When you lose your defensive-minded coach that had this defense playing really well, you're wondering that defense can carry over. Maybe the same team, but coaches do matter. I think a lot, and mostly in the NFL. And I think the loss of Brian Flores is going to hurt Miami. I don't expect much from them this season.
I don't either. I'd be very surprised.
The New England Patriots, not a lot. I mean, they brought back Brian Hoyer. They're signing him to a 2-year contract. He's a backup quarterback. He knows the system. He's a comfortable fit there with Bill Belichick. Running back James White, they signed back, and they also signed safety Devin McCourtney and their kicker Nick Folk. Those are the big signings there for the Patriots. They spent a lot of money last season in the offseason. They spent, I think it was the most money we've ever. I don't know if it was the most of the NFL, but they spent a lot of money. So this year is probably just kind of keeping the guys they want to get and stuff like that. I don't think they were going to go out here and spend a lot more money because Bill Belichick's not known for doing that.
He typically builds in the draft. I think we've covered that a few times on the podcast, but I don't think anyone was expecting too much from them, especially free agency wise.
Right. Last year they came out swinging. We're like, holy moly! So they're just trying to add a little bit to those pieces that they already got from last season, and they shocked a lot of guys last year. Honestly,
yeah, that's true.
With the rookie quarterback, we didn't know what to expect, and they shocked us for a while there, and I expect them to grow, and to fight with Buffalo for that division this next year. New York Jets, Jeff, they have a lot of darts thrown at the board here. They're bringing back Joe Flacco. He still wants to hang on to his career. The one thing, Jeff, and they brought in the Bengals tight end, CJ Uzomah, or I don't know how you say his last name. They brought him in on a 3-year deal, help out that offense. I was listening to a guy on Instagram earlier. He's all he does is do sports, kind of like us. And what he mentioned here, and it's when you look at these names, you're going, who are these guys, right? Or do they really get better? But one thing he said, and is they picked up a lot of offensive line help. They brought in 2 guards. They brought in a couple tight ends that can help block as well, but they brought in some offensive line helps where they can use those draft picks they have on other positions. They're not having to go and find that offensive line in the draft. They're not having to go and find those guys to protect the quarterback. So I like that. If that's something that's these offensive linemen that they brought in are going to help them out. They signed 1 to a 3-year deal here, and that's Lincoln Tomlinson. And a lot of these offensive line guys you never even heard of, right? They're pretty good, but you really never heard of them. They don't get a name made for themselves. So we'll see what happens there. This team is up in the air. They got the new coach coming in here. They got the quarterback. They got to settle down their rookie quarterback. There's a lot that I don't think this team's going to be great, but we'll see what they can add to this team to try and be a competitive football team out there next season. If Joe Flacco, I can tell you this: if Joe Flacco's having to play as quarterback, then that's not a competitive football team. But
wait, I thought they got their quarterback was.
they do. It's
Oh, okay.
Oh, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
He was a rookie last year. He had a lot of interceptions. Didn't look very comfortable. Was under pressure a lot. So they're adding those offensive line to help that. They added a solid tight end. Joe Flacco's their backup quarterback. He played a little bit last season for them. I believe Zach Wilson was hurt. So, I hope Zach Wilson pans out. He played really well in BYU. He did not look very good last season. So, we'll see where he goes from there.
And I think the Jets are not on the precipice of going to the playoffs anytime soon. No. So they build the team up, and I think that's kind of what they're heading in. And I think also we're going to see more moves from them in the draft for sure. So there's definitely going to be some key moves in the draft to kind of either bolster up the defense or add some more to the offensive line as well. To especially, I personally would hope that they would go more the offensive line route. Let's go ahead and get as many top offensive linemen as you can to bolster up this O line and have them start working together now that that the quarterback is so young. That way they gel together at the same time the quarterback is also learning and getting better. So that would be the best option for that. I would think is also. And again, in the draft, build up that defense. I mean, as that happens, I mean, if the quarterback pans out with them, then you got an offensive line that's been there for a few years. That's got a solidified strength, and then you got a defense that has been there that's got a solidified strength. So that they would be a dangerous team at that point if the quarterback pans out.
That's a big if. They got to do a lot to help him and his confidence level because last year he did not look well. Him or Trevor Lawrence didn't. Trevor Lawrence really didn't do much last season. He didn't have much to work with either. The Jets are a team that I don't put much faith in as an organization. I don't think they're that great of an organization anyways, but we'll see what they can do, Jeff. It's just another year. It's got to be tough to be a Jets fan.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jeff. Well, let's jump into the AFC North. This division, scary good last year. Steelers took a hit from their horrible quarterback play and Ben Roethlisberger being hurt and old. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens, though. They're first on this list. They didn't done nothing, Jeff. There's 3 guys they've added, and they're not even added. They're guys that they just signed back for their team. Marcus Williams, their safety. They signed a 5-year, $70 million contract. This team was hurt a lot last season, so I get it. I can't completely kill them. They haven't added a wide receiver, Jeff. Where's their wide receiver? They talk about this team needing someone for Lamar Jackson to throw the ball to, other than their tight end Andrews and Hollywood Brown every now and then to help out their quarterback. Why haven't they gone out and gotten somebody? Why haven't they gone out and gotten another wide receiver? I don't understand that. This division has gotten very tough.
Yeah.
Bengals just made the Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns added a quarterback we'll get into here in a little bit. Mm-hmm. The only team that I think that got worse is the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Ravens, to me, and in this league, if you haven't gotten better, you've gotten worse, right? I think that a lot. If you haven't gotten better, because everyone in your division, if you look at your division, they've gotten better. They went out and did this. They went out and did that. Whatever. One just went to the Super Bowl. What does the Ravens do? I'm disappointed if I'm a Ravens fan with this off season. And they did sign Zadarius Smith back. He came from Baltimore, came to Green Bay. When we got him, I said, I don't know who this guy is. He's been a beast. He played 2 seasons with us. Fantastic. He hurt his back, got hurt, missed all last year. We ended up letting him go because of cap issues. He said he's going to sign back with Baltimore. I was like, oh, I texted my friend Amber. She's a Baltimore fan. It's going to be fantastic pickup, and he backs out of the deal. He's still up on the free agent market. I don't know what he's waiting on to sign with somebody, but other than that, you haven't heard anything from Baltimore. And that's got to be some depressing news for the
It's
Baltimore fans.
it's definitely depressing news. What you want your team to build and become stronger as another team in that same division has become stronger. We can argue that the Bengals are one of the top teams, if not the top team in that division, because they were in the Super Bowl, because they had to compete, because they were close to winning one. Burrow was that good. So the problem that you're running into is that if you're not building up to, let's say let's say the Bengals get better, right? If you didn't get better, well, guess what? The Bengals were already good. Now they're better, and you didn't get any better at all because you didn't pick anybody up. You can throw darts at the draft, but again, the draft is you don't know. You have to sometimes those guys wait multiple years just to get into this
Adjusted,
league,
right?
adjusted to this league, and then you got to also know about timing with with the quarterback. So that's another problem that you run into. So it's I mean, I hope the Baltimore Ravens organization knows what to do in the draft because it does not seem like they're very serious in the free agent market this year at all. I don't know if it's money. I don't know. I don't think it is. But maybe they're looking at it like, well, this draft class is deep. We're gonna go for that. Maybe
Yeah.
move up, maybe do something, but I don't know what their pick situation looks like going into the draft, but I think that might be what their idea is based off of the lackluster, if not, anemic choices in the free agent market.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up something here. This is a deep. I hear it's a deep um, wide receiver class,
And that
and
might be why they're waiting.
it
That's a
could be. Are
possibility.
they going to fall that far? I'm not sure. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Green Bay needs some wide receivers. We'll get into that in a little bit. So I'm hoping some guys fall to us there, but maybe that's what they're hoping on. Maybe that's what they're waiting on. I don't know. Maybe it is cap issues. They've got to pay up their quarterback I think in a couple. I think next season actually they're going to extend him. How much money they're going to give him, all that kind of things. But I don't think they're going to be a horrible team. I just don't think they've done anything to better off their situation. And
Exactly.
when you've got a team in your own division that went to the Super Bowl, you got another team that just added a elite quarterback. So I think they're fighting an uphill battle, and I
Definitely.
just it's not fantastic look for the Baltimore Ravens.
You gotta get better. You gotta get better, especially the fact that the Bengals are a young team, young up and coming team. They're not going away anytime soon. They're not going to get any worse. I doubt it, unless Burrow gets hurt again. Then there you go. But
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, you've got to get better. So I think it's the draft they're going to look forward to. That's probably why we're not seeing a whole lot from them in free agency.
Well, speaking of Cincinnati and not getting a lot older, they are a young football team. They came out and shocked the world last year, making it to the Super Bowl this last season. They re-signed their backup quarterback. No big deal. Whatever that they got it. They lost their tight end. They brought in Hayden Hurst, who's a decent wide receiver, was able to catch the ball out of the backfield. They brought in a couple offensive linemen to bolster up that offense, and that's exactly what we needed to see. That's exactly why they lost the Super Bowl, not being able to protect a quarterback. And they also brought in, I believe they got the Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman who left. I believe they traded for him. I forget his name. He is a really good offensive lineman as well. It's not on here for some reason, but he did sign there for the Cincinnati Bengals. So they bolstered up. This is exactly what, if you're a football fan, it's what you want to see. You go through a season and you go, what were we missing this year? What do we need to work on? We needed a wide receiver. Okay, we went out and got one. We needed to bolster up this defensive line. We were missing that pass rush. All right, we went out and we fixed those issues. The Bengals did that. Now, will they
Right.
pan out? Time will tell, right? But they went out and they signed offensive linemen. They signed them 3-year deals for that. Like when I see us sign a guy, I want to see it. I want to see some commitment, right? I want to see a 2-3 year deal, 4-year deal. Okay, they believe this guy's going to be here and last a while. not just those 1-year deals. And those 1-year deals are fine, but when it comes to your offensive line, you want them here for a while. You want to build that consistency with each other. They sign these guys 3-4-year deals. Means they're going to be on that line for quite a while, and hopefully they can protect Joe Burrow a lot better than he has been protected. And if this team's better than it was last season, then the Bengals are looking really, really well up for next year's. And I'm excited because the Bengals haven't done anything since I've been alive. So
Yeah.
their fans have got to be excited, and we'll look and see what they do in the draft. There hasn't been that flash move hasn't been there in free agency, but you don't have to make those flash moves when you just went to the Super Bowl, right?
Well,
So
especially
you already got those
you
star
know,
players where you need them. Go ahead.
yeah, especially when you're trying to attack a weakness in the team, and basically, I think what the Bengals are doing is getting as many veterans as they can that will attack those weaknesses that they had going in the Super Bowl, and obviously not winning the Super Bowl and why they didn't win it, and then anything else they can just throw in draft picks, and then just kind of try to build from there a little bit. And I think this team is. I mean, they're right there. They're really good. Fixing that offensive line is major, major. And I think that if they do this, they're going to be so much better than they were last year, giving Burrow more time to throw the ball, more time to connect with his receivers. I think that in the end, if they can fix that with a couple of veteran offensive linemen that already know their system or already know their schemes, man, that's going to be dangerous. You're giving Burrow more time to throw. There's nothing a whole lot you could do at that point. If you bolster that O-line, that's all they need, man. That's really all they need. Outside of fixing a couple of pieces on defense, that's all they need.
Right. They did re-sign. I saw today Eli Apple. He's a decent cornerback, not fantastic. I think they really
From
should
the
have
Giants,
replaced
right?
him. Yeah, he's from the Giants. He he did okay for him last year, but they re-signed him. And Leo Collins is that offensive lineman. I don't know if they signed him yet. They're really interested in him. Dallas ended up cutting him, but they'll probably pick him up. He's a good tackle there. So. All right, Jeff. Well, here's one of the biggest blockbuster moves in the NFL this season. We're jumping into the Cleveland Browns, and of course, it's Amari Cooper. Jeff, the biggest I'm just joking. It's not Amari Cooper. It's Deshaun freaking Watson, guys. What a turn of events. Deshaun Watson goes to the Cleveland Browns, and came a day after we got news that Deshaun Watson does not want to play for Cleveland. He has a no trade clause. He said no to Cleveland, and the next day he says, I will remove my no trade clause. I want to play for the Cleveland Browns. They trade him there for 3 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and a 5th-round pick. They pay him fully guaranteed, Jeff, 5 years, $230 million, the most guaranteed money of anybody in the NFL history, just surpassed Aaron Rodgers. Fantastic news here, guys. This is Cleveland Brown fans have to be jumping over the moon. Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback. Deshaun Watson has gone through some legal trouble, Jeff, but the court said Deshaun Watson did nothing wrong. We cannot charge him with any criminal activity. He's cleared to play. Deshaun Watson will be good for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, this is the best they're going to look. I guarantee it. Not only that, Jeff, they bring in Amari Cooper. All right. They actually trade for Amari Cooper. They gave up nothing for Amari Cooper. Dallas Cowboys were going to have to let Amari Cooper walk. So they got a 5th and a 6th-round pick for Amari Cooper. This guy, Amari Cooper, is a good wide receiver. He is a number 1 wide receiver. I do have one issue with Amari Cooper. He disappears sometimes. Okay. He does.
You mean
he pulls
he pulls a Dennis Rodman and disappears?
He just doesn't show up sometimes. I don't get it. I don't know why. Maybe Dallas was misusing him. I don't got the answers for you. Maybe that's it. He doesn't. He's a good wide. He's one of the best route runners in the league. Deshaun Watson is going to be able to use this guy. I think. Hopefully, they bring back their tight end. They put a franchise tag on David. I don't know how you say his last name. I'm not even going to try it. He's a really good tight end for them. With Deshaun Watson, with this rushing attack, Jeff, with Amari Cooper. Now, they did let go of Jarvis Landry, which I thought was kind of interesting. I thought they'd keep that together. They did let him go, and this is a deadly team. You add that defense. This is a deadly team. I mean, they added an elite quarterback, and Baker Mayfield, what an idiot this guy is. Did you hear about what happened to him?
I heard that he had a thing that he just basically requested to not be a part of the team anymore. Didn't he have some kind of, I don't know if there was some shakeup there in the front office or what's going on?
What a joke. Okay, first of all, I like Baker coming out of college. Let me get that off my chest here. I liked his attitude, his cockiness. I liked it. I didn't think he was the guy in Cleveland after watching him a couple games. Did he fight with all his heart? Yes, but is he a good enough quarterback to win with his team? In my opinion, no. So I'm glad they moved on. He's still on the team. They haven't traded him. I figured they would trade him in Houston, but I guess Houston didn't want him. Basically, Baker Mayfield got upset and butthurt that the Cleveland Browns even took a meeting with Deshaun Watson. After he found that out, he said, "I want out. Trade me." Deshaun Watson said, "I'm not going to Cleveland." So they denied Baker Mayfield's request of a trade. And the next day, Deshaun Watson signs with their team. So Baker Mayfield is now doesn't have it. I don't know what they're going to do to him. They'll probably trade him somewhere. He wants to go to the Indianapolis Colts, and look, the Colts need a quarterback, and I could see that. I could see that panning out. They got a good defense. They got a good offensive line. They need some wide receiver help there, but they got a good running back to help out Baker Mayfield. I think that'd be a good fit. We'll see what they can do. But I just thought it was hilarious because, other quarterbacks deal with this all the time. Tua Tagovailoa has dealt with this about bringing other guys in, not being that guy.
Deshaun Watson was linked to them at one point. So
yes, he had that for 2 seasons, just about.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, they have a meeting with the guy, and in 24 hours, you're wanting out. I just think it's a really bad look for him, and I think
it might be, but we're not in the organization. It's hard for us to really kind of dictate what's going on and how much of a drama queen, I guess, he's being. I do know I have some fair share of history with crap like that, and that was whenever Jay Cutler was just absolutely being an idiot. And Josh McDaniels did one of the worst trades in Denver Bronco history, by far the worst in trading for Kyle Orton, or not, and so it was the worst thing we could have done.
So you can't trade me. I'm Jay Cutler.
Was it Kyle Orton? He played for the Bears.
Kyle Orton was horrible. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it was him.
Jay Cutler.
And basically, we traded Jay Cutler for a quarterback who can never get in the end zone, ever. And so it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I get it. I get not wanting that drama in there, and we don't want any kind of friction in your locker room. And the Broncos did make that decision to do that, just because the rumor was that we were talking to getting a quarterback and trading him possibly, was ridiculous. And so, I don't know what's going on with Baker Mayfield. I kind of would like to see him. I know the Colts would be a good option, but I kind of would like to see him maybe go somewhere to the maybe even to the Philadelphia Phillies. They need a quarterback, and that would be kind of an interesting. Yeah, Phillies, Eagles. That's
baseball on your mind.
Baseball, basketball. Okay, whatever. So yeah, Anyway, the Eagles. Let's have them go there. Why not? Let's make that. Let's kind of like change that whole division up a little bit. Let's kind of spice up that division a little bit. That would be kind of interesting too. The Colts, sure, but I would like to see him go to a division where he's definitely going to be competing, and competing against somewhat of a good talent, I guess, in terms of playing against the Cowboys. But I would like to see the Cowboys shake a little bit.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. I don't know if that's going to happen. And our next week, Jeff, our spotlight of the week is going to be some questions and answers we found out through the last season of the NFL. I've been wanting to do this, but so much breaking news happened the last 2 weeks, and free agency has been so big that we haven't been able to do it. But we'll trust me, there'll be a lot of Dallas Cowboy talk on there too, and go from there. But we'll get into Dallas Cowboys too here later on this episode. But Jeff, the Pittsburgh Steelers, What are we doing over there?
Well, I
What are we
mean, they're
doing?
trying to figure out quarterback situation.
There's a quarterback situation with Mitchell Trubisky. Are you freaking kidding me?
What do you want them to do?
My
Like, what
gosh.
do you want them to
What?
do? They got
Why?
to have
Why?
a quarterback.
Why
Got to
were
have
they out?
something.
they gotta. They
I
gotta fill the
mean,
position. What? Why were they out on Deshaun Watson? They said that weeks ago. We're not. We're out on Deshaun. Why?
I don't even think what you think they had anything to do. Like, you think they had the pieces to give them? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
what
3
they
first
did?
rounds. I don't know if they were going to be 2 in 1 year, but you give them the next 3 years. Look, I'm just saying. When I heard Pittsburgh was out on Deshaun Watson like a month ago, I'm going, why? What are you doing at quarterback? And then they signed Mitchell Trubisky. That's your answer. That's your answer. This team is good enough to win right now, and you're feeling it out with Mitchell freaking Trubisky.
The problem with the
I'm
Pittsburgh
disappointed.
Steelers is that they're in this weird and awkward position that the Denver Broncos were in at one point before we got our quarterback. Okay. And that's what I'm saying is, like, I'm sitting here, I see this team and they're not horrible, but they're also not good. And so when you're in that weird boat, you're at a 10 pick, 10 ranked pick in the first round, 12, and you're just sitting there like, well, we're not the worst, but we're not the best.
It's that
And so
mediocre in the
and
middle,
that's
and
it's hard to really know what's going to happen, because ultimately, is Mitch Trubisky the quarterback of the future for the Pittsburgh Steelers? No, I don't think anybody thinks that whatsoever. Not even Pittsburgh fans think that. But what are you going to do? You going to tank? Maybe. I personally don't see the coaching staff doing that. Mike Tomlin is full.
Mike Tomlin's not losing.
He is very, very, dedicated to winning and trying to win and doing what he can do to win. I just don't see him tanking. I don't think that's in his character, and it's just gonna be kind of a weird transition from Ben Roethlisberger, and you're gonna have to hopefully. They may even go hard on a quarterback in the draft this year, to just see if that might work. I mean, there again, the draft's a weird thing. Quarterbacks, take a look at Tom Brady. He wasn't, take a look at Aaron Rodgers. I mean, these guys were picked later, and some of them didn't even think they were going to be picked. And so look at how they turned out. It's difficult, but you never know what you're going to get. It's hard to tell who's going to be great and who's not,
This team they suffered when they kept Ben Roethlisberger last year, and obviously he's your star franchise quarterback who is no longer a star, but he's your team, right? And they held on to him 1 year too long, and they suffered because of it. This team's defense is good enough to win. This team on the offense, they just lost Juju Smith-Schuster. He's been a kind of a
staple.
He has been a staple. He's also been some locker room issue there. I was disappointed for Steeler fans when I said Mitchell Trubisky. Now I got a buddy Jeff of mine his name is also Jeff, but he's a Packers fan. And when Trubisky was in Chicago, he told me Trubisky's a good quarterback. It's actually, he's like, Trubisky's good. It's the offensive coach that ruined him. And so we'll see. We'll see. Maybe when he goes to Pittsburgh, they're gonna lean hard on Najee Harris, the running back there, who's really good. Maybe they give him the tools to win. Maybe Mike Tomlin can get, if anybody can get Trubisky to play his best,
it's Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
And
we're gonna find out. That division's tough. We just talked about this division. Division's super tough. Can they get the job done? This defense is good enough to win. I'm just not sure they have enough on offense.
And they bolstered up the defense. I mean, look at who they got. They got 3 cornerbacks. They got a safety. Linebackers. I mean, they bolstered. They added pieces defensively. Also, obviously, adding some more pieces to the offensive line. So I think their defense is going to be fine, and I think their offensive line may be a strength a little bit. I don't know. And maybe that's a kind of understanding maybe Trubisky's weaknesses a little bit. So maybe they're trying to bolster it up. If the defense is good and the defense keeps games close, I think that does bode well for Trubisky.
It will, and they'll lean hard on the running attack and kind of take the pressure off of him,
Right.
and you can win that way. You can do
Mhm.
enough defensively to win that way. Does that, you know, when we're talking playoffs, I don't think you will win that way.
No.
But let's just get to the season first and what we expect for the next season.
Right.
All right, Jeff, let's jump into the AFC South. I'm not even going to talk about the Houston Texans. To me, they're irrelevant. They're bad. This is the most signings that I've seen a team do and talk about just dartboards. It's just dartboards. They do bring back Christian Kirksey. He did pretty good for Green Bay last year. They brought him back. He just played 1 year for Green Bay and went back to them. Other guys, I don't know. This team is not worth talking about. Honestly, we're gonna skip on down to the Indianapolis Colts. And sorry, Houston Texans, you're a joke right now, and it's not worth their time. The Indianapolis Colts, Jeff. What are they doing at the quarterback until they get that position really figured out? We have no clue. It doesn't really matter what's going to happen in Indianapolis. They've added a tight end here. They added some defensive help. They added a linebacker. But until you have a quarterback, you really don't have much. They need some wide receiver help there as well. They have a good defense. Their defensive leader Leonard is a beast. He's out there trying to recruit guys for the team, openly recruiting guys. But until you have a quarterback, Carson Wentz didn't work out. Look, he took a flyer on Carson Wentz last year. Thought maybe you could bring him back, and that didn't happen. You already traded him. 1 year later, you traded him. It was a complete failure, and this team looks to be bad unless they figure out their quarterback position. This team could be bad though and still be the second team in their division because their division is not very good. But
Yeah. I mean, this is another team that kind of was in that Bronco territory. They don't have a quarterback. They're just trying to look at pieces to solidify the team. And I think that unfortunately, what we might more than likely see with the Colts is that we'll see them build pieces, offensive pieces, grab some guys high up in the draft. And then when they are opportunity to land a quarterback, this is a team that will pounce for sure. And maybe it is Baker Mayfield. And if they do get Baker Mayfield, then it makes the Colts a lot better. He's better than what they have. So, I mean, you can't deny that. And so
better than Carson Wentz.
Right. So adding pieces to solidify it, and then, I mean, maybe going after Baker Mayfield. And if it's not Baker Mayfield, then obviously they're going to be looking at they're probably not going to be great and get, they'll probably have some high picks. And I think next year there's some quarterbacks to go after. And I could definitely see them maybe trading up to try to grab quarterback next year if they don't get Baker.
Right. And then Jacksonville, guys. Jacksonville add a lot of pieces. First of all, you're hoping that your quarterback does better this season. He didn't do too great last year. He had a lot of pressure on him. He had a lot of pressure on him from being a first-round draft pick. He had a lot of pressure on him from the defenses because their offensive line wasn't really good. They added some offensive line help this year. They added a lot of it. They brought in Evan Ingram, tight end from the Giants, who's a really good pass threat for him. They overpaid. This is one of the worst overpaying jobs I've ever seen in the NFL. They overpaid Christian Kirk a 4-year, $72 million contract, overpaid a wide receiver. This guy had one good year last year for Arizona, and they paid him like a number one, pretty much. And they brought in another guy, Zay Jones, the wide receiver as well. So they're trying to add some offensive help there, trying to add offensive line to protect Trevor Lawrence. I do think they'll get better this year. They won't have a debacle of a head coach like they had last year in Urban Meyer. What a joke that was. And just a nonsense of negative media and storylines and headlines that you don't want, especially for your first-year rookie quarterback. So I'm hoping that this year Trevor Lawrence can step in, and he's working with Doug Peterson as the head coach now, who works well with quarterbacks. He used to be Brett Favre's backup in Green Bay. He coached the Eagles to the Super Bowl. he's known to be a quarterback guy, so hopefully he can get in there with Trevor Lawrence, get him going in the right path. His offensive line can help him out. He's got some offensive weapons he can use, and we see Trevor Lawrence take that next step forward this next season without all the headaches and without all the negative publicity there in Jacksonville.
I think you're right on the money on this. I think Jacksonville will be better. I don't think they'll be night and day better. I don't think this is like a kind of a Bengals situation where they,
They're in the Super Bowl next year.
yeah. I don't see them in the Super Bowl. But I do see them getting better. I do see them. I think we see Trevor Lawrence's numbers go up. Maybe mistakes go down. I think that he will feel more comfortable with a better head coach and a more concrete system and some kind of, I think the offensive line obviously is there to protect him as well, but I do see Jacksonville getting better. These are all right moves. I mean, I do think maybe a little bit over again, I do agree with the overpayment of Christian Kirk.
Time.
That's a little insane. I think that might be because of he was on a playoff team that went pretty far. So, but that doesn't mean anything in the NFL. There's a lot of players on playoff teams that some of them aren't even any good. And it doesn't mean that every player on there is going to be able to get max money like that. So
let me tell you the numbers on Christian Kirk and how bad they overpaid him. Okay. 4 years for the Cardinals, never once broke 1,000 yards. Last year, he had 982. The year before that, he had 600 yards, Jeff. 5 touchdowns last season. And they paid this guy. They killed the wide receiver market to overpay Christian Kirk. I don't know why. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
So I look at it like, Jacksonville fans, I think you should be happy at least that the team is at least getting a little bit of improvement. And I think that they'll win a little more games than they won this last season. And I think little by little, this team will head in the right direction. I really do. Their quarterback's too good to not. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. And you can't deny it. So giving him more offensive line help, more time to throw the ball, better weapons out there, and then more comfortability with the scheme. I definitely think they'll be back for sure.
They'll definitely be better.
They'll be better. They'll be better for sure. And I think maybe I don't remember how many games they won.
2.
No, they'll win more
3.
than that. They'll win more than that.
Not sure. It just wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot. Let's see. So we got the Tennessee Titans next, Jeff. Not big here. They didn't really do much. They did cut. What's his face? Julio Jones. They cut Julio Jones. They add in two. Was that from the Dallas Cowboys? I have to look that up. Jeff Swain. They add 2 tight ends. They had Austin Cooper and Swain. I don't really know who that guy is. Anyways, Austin Hooper was a guy that showed promise. He's okay, nothing great, nothing fantastic. They really haven't added much. They added some offensive line help, but this team is going to rely on Tannehill, and they're going to rely on that rushing attack. And when that rushing attack went down last year, they did surprise us when Derrick Henry got hurt. They did surprise us in still winning games, but they couldn't make it. They couldn't make it past the Bengals in the playoffs. Not much here to talk about Tennessee fans. The biggest news has been their cutting of Julio Jones, honestly. So not the biggest of off seasons for the Tennessee Titans either. So
Tennessee's an interesting team. They're always in the mix somehow. Like, their defense, either their defense is really good or they have a pretty decent offense. Running back situation, Tannehill's still their quarterback, right? They haven't done anything with him.
Haven't moved on from him.
And so they also have the running back situation is excellent. I mean, they're all right. I don't think there's much for them to do. I think there is a risk of relying on the running back constantly, and maybe not so much to do. Maybe worry about that a little bit, because if he gets hurt like he did last year,
They still won surprisingly, but I think that was the oddball. I don't think if he gets hurt again this year, I don't think they're going to continue that success.
Yeah,
So.
it's interesting. I think I would definitely make sure to add more weapons coming into the draft, and then obviously add a couple tight ends. But I would add some weapons for the quarterback a little bit, just to give him some more options, so that they don't have to constantly rely on Derrick Henry.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. The best division in the NFL we're going to get to here. The NFC East. Just kidding. The AFC West, my gosh, dude. Talk about bolstering up your teams. Talk about making moves just because you're this team did this, so now we got to do something. We're going to add this guy, and that team did where they added that. This is insane, Jeff. The division is insane. Okay. First of all, we're going to talk about your Denver Broncos. You add in Russell freaking Wilson. Okay.
Well, you forgot the biggest one, Josh Johnson.
Oh,
Brian.
my bad.
We got Josh Johnson on a 1-year deal.
Oh, that was the biggest move all free agency was quarterback backup Josh Johnson. There,
yeah, he's actually the starter. Russell Wilson's the backup. Let's be honest.
I don't know how I overlooked that one.
So Josh Johnson, they got him on a 1-year deal. Obviously, this is because Teddy Bridgewater left.
I don't know why they put him for. I'm like, really? That's yeah. So what the list we're looking at has Josh Johnson and then Russell. I'm like, what? So you add in Russell Wilson, you get away with highway robbery, in my opinion. You don't give up much for Russell Wilson.
We don't.
And that's just insane to me. You get Russell Wilson, automatically makes you a contender. This is the piece you missed, Jeff. The quarterback, I've been telling you, you've known it. You go all in for a quarterback. You went all in for Russell Wilson. He's going to be fantastic in Denver. They have that's not it, Jeff.
So here's and we talked about, anybody wants to go listen their last week's episode. We talked about the Russell Wilson and
Aaron Rodgers,
Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and we talked about that in depth for probably about an hour, maybe 40 minutes.
It was a big
episode. Yes. So if you really want to go see an in-depth conversation about that whole thing, definitely listen to last week's episode. So here's the deal. I've come to the realization this is how Denver does stuff. We don't draft quarterbacks. We let other people draft quarterbacks, right? And then we build the team up. We build them up. And then we go and we just go get that quarterback that's been in the league
when you're serious. Yeah,
when you're real serious.
I mean, you do draft quarterbacks hoping that one pans out.
We don't draft any good ones. Let's say that.
Sorry, that is true.
I was part of the lock.
Quarterbacks have been pathetic.
I was part of the lock train there for a little bit, but
you were. I was trying to tell you, Jeff, and it's not happening.
Well, you gotta have the grasses. You gotta have glass half full kind of first a little bit. But Russell Wilson. Everyone knows we got him. It's been the story of the town. It's been the story of the week. It's been the story of the last 2 weeks. And so people keep talking about it. Still, Shelby Harris left. Hurts my soul a little bit. I like Shelby Harris a lot.
He was good. Noah Fant.
Noah Fant. He had promise. I think he'll do well there. Drew Lock, we also gave up as well. That didn't bother anybody in Denver whatsoever.
Ready to pack his bags for him on the way out.
And I like the fact that we, a lot of people didn't think we would do this trade because they thought George Payton sticks he's got an iron claw grip on picks, and it's like it's like the freaking Gollum in Lord of the Rings. It's like those are his preciouses, and so it's like you don't touch them. And so the fact that he gave them up, some of them at least, some good ones. I mean, I like the first two round picks are really good, but and the 2 second rounds picks were decent. But other than that, it was nothing. This team was not hurt by this at all. And so, and then now we're in the whole thing of who are the Broncos going to get now to fix everything else and maybe make this team even better. Well, let's go down the list, Brian. Okay.
I know you're dying to talk about.
Calvin Anderson re-signed to a 1-year contract. Again, this is a person who was already on the team. I think they maybe re-signed him to a 1-year deal on a team-friendly price. This does save up a little bit of extra money there, to sign a few more people. One of the biggest flip-flops in NFL history, I swear. The only other one that I think of is the Elvis Dumervil email screw-up.
He didn't get the fax in on it was a fax.
John
It was
Elway.
a freaking fax. What is this?
So we got Randy Gregory.
Signs a 5-year, $70 million deal that
I'll
includes
let you talk about the Randy
guaranteed.
Gregory situation, since I know you listen to local Dallas sports talk.
I do, Jeff. And this is interesting because Randy Gregory is broke. That Randy Gregory is staying in Dallas. They're keeping their pass rush together. I was like, okay, that's good for the Dallas Cowboys. 30 minutes later, Randy Gregory is not signing with the Dallas Cowboys. Randy Gregory is decided to go to Denver. There was some news that the Cowboys tried to slide into some language that he didn't like in the contract. And that's kind of why he backed out. People are blaming his agent, saying that they went with the more guaranteed money because the agent gets paid more. I'm not 100% sure because I was on vacation this week. I didn't listen to the radio. What in the world would happen there? I will tell you this, Jeff, and I do think I do like Randy Gregory from last season. He played really well. I do think he screwed over the Dallas Cowboys. If you do not know Randy Gregory's background history, Jeff, he has been addicted to marijuana. All right. Dallas Cowboys has kept Randy Gregory on their payroll for years. For years, this guy kept getting suspended for marijuana. They kept him around because Jerry Jones believed in him. Finally, he comes out. He plays a full season. He has a breakout year. He looks really good. He's solid. They're like, awesome. The NFL's no longer testing for marijuana. We can offer this guy and make him a Dallas Cowboy. We can sign him some big bucks. And he reneges on the conversation and the contract and goes to be a Denver Bronco. I don't know because it's because the they could smoke weed there all they want. I have no idea.
I will let you know.
But I think it's hilarious because I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I do think it's kind of messed up because if it wasn't for the Dallas Cowboys, he would not be in the NFL, period. But he went with the money, and the Denver Broncos have a better chance of winning next season than the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion. So
I will let you hear what I heard.
Okay. I've been trying to look up some things.
So here's the deal. There was a clause in the contract that stated if he got suspended in any way, shape, or form, he would negate his guaranteed cash. Now, what's interesting about it is they agreed on the contract, and him and Jerry, I think, and maybe Stephen Jones, I don't know. Isn't it Stephen Jones' son?
Stephen Jones takes care of the financials,
so here's that's all I hear people talk about right now is how much he's screwing up. So here's what I heard. They snuck in at the last second that part of the contract, thinking Randy Gregory was going to sign. When they started going through it, then they saw that wasn't part of the contract. And I think Randy Gregory went and asked, like, what is this? And they explained it, and he said, that's not what we agreed upon. So then he had already received an offer from the Broncos. That was the same offer the Cowboys were giving him without that clause.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what's interesting. Why would you have a clause like that knowing the NFL really doesn't care about it anymore? They kind of are lackluster about it now. It's not like it's a problem. And he's more than likely not going to get suspended again. So why would you have it in the clause that if he got suspended for something else, whatever it may be, he negates the $28 million guaranteed, which he played for. That's why he got the guaranteed. So it's just interesting. It's a weird thing.
Now, I talked to my buddy Ryan, who's a Cowboys fan. He says they put those in all people and everyone's contract.
They don't. They did not put that. They did not put that in the contract for Dak Prescott. I don't think they did the same thing for Zeke.
I have no
don't think
idea.
Zeke would have signed off on that.
I have no idea.
So because Zeke had a history of being suspended, he got suspended a couple of times. Dak had a DUI. So it's interesting because I do think that Randy Gregory felt disrespected. And I think the fact that he felt disrespected, he goes, you know what? Russell Wilson's calling me. That's where I'm going to go. Because now we're hearing stories that Russell Wilson, once he agreed to come to Denver and he was touring the facility, he was with George Payton and he was texting players when the free agency started. So that tampering stuff was going on. Guess what? Russell Wilson was calling Randy Gregory. He wanted Randy Gregory. He was texting and texting and texting. And I think Randy Gregory said, you know what? These people want me. And they're not going to do that to me. So I'm going. And they're going to give me the same money. They're going to give me all this, and they're going to guarantee it. There's not going to be stipulations to this. And guess what? Not only does Russell Wilson want me, Nathaniel Hackett wants me too. And so I think, and this is, the Broncos have been linked to Randy Gregory even before he was drafted. So this is something that the Denver Broncos have been wanting. They wanted him for a while. And I'm going to tell you something right now. And this is something that's hilarious. This could potentially be another DeMarcus Ware situation where this guy comes here, the Broncos go possibly to a Super Bowl and maybe win, and he will be the second Cowboy to win a Super Bowl, leaving the Cowboys and coming to the Denver Broncos. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. It cracks me up. This team has been doing this to the Cowboys. The Broncos have been doing this to the Cowboys for years. It's so hilarious. But you know what I also find interesting that I hear about this? You have sports analysts that are like, disrespectful, blah, 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 Randy Gregory, all this and that or the other. And then they follow that up with, well, good luck. He's your problem now. And I'm like, but you wanted him?
Yeah.
You wanted him to sign back with the Cowboys so badly, but yet you're like, good luck. He's a piece of work. And it's just like, but you would have praised it if he had signed. These different sports analysts were praising the fact that the Cowboys got him back because it was going to solidify that defense more and keep that defense intact. Now that he's leaving, it's like, yeah. And I'm like,
that's how people are. And look, I do think after what the Dallas Cowboys did that he should have stayed. But he did.
A lot of people blame Stephen Jones for the fact that he left.
Yes. He tried to put in a clause that would protect the Dallas Cowboys' butt, and it bit him in the butt. Because
they need some extra money, Brian.
Yeah.
The Cowboys need a lot of money.
We're going to get them Dallas Cowboys talk, but apparently they do down in Dallas.
So we go down the list. We also
hold on, Jeff. I got some breaking news here real quick.
What's going on?
I just saw this pop up, and this is the Tennessee Titan talk. The Rams have traded Robert Woods to the Titans for a 6th-round draft pick. So they add a offensive weapon. They got rid of Julio Jones. They add in Woods. I think it's a good pickup. I wish the Packers would have sent a 6th-round draft pick over to Robert Woods. But I digress. And let's jump back into the Denver Broncos here. Sorry, that just broke. So I had brought that out there.
So
I don't know anybody else on this list, but I know the Randy Gregory.
DJ Jones is something that Russell Wilson wanted. He was in contact with him as well. I want to say he was the defensive tackle for the 49ers, I think. Yeah, he is. And so he's a great pickup. I think that he's DJ Jones is more of a run stopper. He's a guy who's going to definitely clog up the hole. This is a Shelby Harris replacement for sure. That's one of the reasons probably why we did get him. We did re-sign on a 1-year deal defensive tackle Deshaun Williams. Josie Jules, that's a big one. We actually got a team-friendly deal. He signed a 2-year deal with the Broncos, and I think we actually got some money back on that deal, so which is nice. Malik Reed, you received a right of refusal tender. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's coming back. I don't know why Malik Reed wouldn't come back. And then we also have Alex Singleton, 1 year, 1.1 million. I think he came from the Bolts. I can't remember who. I know we signed a tight end from the Ravens, but he's not on this list for some reason. But yeah, so I mean, I think really what a lot of people want the Broncos to really focus on now is solidifying the cornerback situation, possibly bringing back a few guys that from our past a little bit, and I could see Chris Harris Jr. coming back, something like that. Some guys that are kind of, and they're veterans, but they're still good. And I just want to see a little bit more on that. I think George Payton mentioned that a couple of days ago that they are going to be focusing on cornerback because they think that is to just solidify that up. Not that we don't have any good ones, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So especially in the league where we're going to be passed on a lot, just to solidify it up and get some more help for Patrick Surtain. And other than that, man, I think the Broncos have solidified all these answers, and then just really going in the draft and adding some depth to this team. So our running back situation is the same. We got that. I would like to see them bring back who's the other running back? Not Deshaun Williams. Not Sean Williams, but I'm trying to think of it's Melvin Gordon. I want to see them bring back Melvin Gordon just to have a second running back in case somebody gets hurt. I do worry about that a little bit, focusing solely on that the young running back that we did get in the draft last year. So we'll see. I like the moves. Obviously, the big one is the quarterback, and then honestly, it's really that Randy Gregory and DJ Jones that really helped. Calvin Anderson, I think, he was great last year, so I think he'll be fine. And Josie Jewell is a big one. I like Josie Jewell, so I think that's keeping him around. I don't see why not. He was great last year. Yeah, I like it. So I think the Broncos did a great job in the free agent market so far. I'd like to see them add maybe one more, maybe two more cornerbacks in this situation, and then solidify the stuff in the draft and just kind of get ready for the season, man.
Yeah, Denver looks really well off after this offseason that they've had. They'll add into the draft and they're really good. You have a hell of a draft team there to draft those guys for you. So I think this division's tough. I can't tell you you're going to win the division next year because of all the teams in but they're all the teams that are really good and bolstered up their teams. But they look really well, and they have a chance to win your division. They have that chance to be. I think they are Super Bowl contenders with what they've added in. So
there's some people that think there's a possibility that all 4 teams go in the playoffs.
It could be. There could be. And let's jump into a couple other teams here. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs. They are fantastic. Patrick Mahomes. They looked a little off this last year. They didn't get the championship ring or anything, but they add in Juju Smith-Schuster, another wide receiver there to help out from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a good signing. They bring back defensive end Frank Clark. They sign him to a 2-year, $29 million deal. Restructure some of his stuff. So big pickups for them, or big bringing him back. And Juju Smith-Schuster, as long as he's got his head in the game, is really well pick up for them to go along with this offense. I think it's just another weapon there for Patrick Mahomes. And when it comes to off the field, they were making fun of it because Jackson Mahomes likes to do TikTok. Juju Schuster likes to do TikTok. They were making fun of it, saying he's only going there to do TikToks with Jackson Mahomes. But Jackson Mahomes will no longer be allowed at the football games. Jeff, did you hear
Good.
about that? So
Good.
that is good. No more freaking. It would annoy the hell out of me, Jeff. I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure Patrick's kind of fed up with it too. If you're the famous person in your family and your other people, like your brother
Trying to make
or
money off your fame,
are just they're headlines at the end of the game. You're like, what are you doing over here? So that's good for them. So you got anything you want to add to the Kansas City Chiefs? We all know they're great, and
I do find it interesting that the Juju Smith Schuster is a 1-year deal. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. But I think that he's a great wide receiver, but a 1-year deal is a little strange to me. That kind of shows that he's kind of in there, but not. It's like,
probably a prove it deal. They didn't
I don't
probably
know.
if
Prove
you
it.
go
I don't think it's
Juju Smith Schuster had a couple good years in Pittsburgh, but he fell off at the end. He's been injury prone. He's
that's true.
he's made bonehead decisions on a football field when he cost their team a down to try and win a game. Like he makes bonehead decisions. So I think he's got to add a little bit of trust back in it. I don't.
I mean,
know.
I really like the number 1 quarterback, Chad Henne. I think he's going to be great. I think Patrick Mahomes should learn a thing or two from him. And the Chiefs, they made some moves. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. They'll still be good. I mean, obviously,
I think they need to eventually, at some point, address the tight end situation. It seemed like he kind of fell off a little bit last year. But
now Kelsey's fantastic. There's no way.
We'll see. Numbers went down a little bit last year.
There's no one talking about that. Travis Kelce is one of the best, if not the best, tight end in the NFL. Right
okay, all right.
I'll take him over anybody else right now.
Well, I mean, you need some weapons.
Well, I do need a tight end. I do need a tight end. But I'm just saying, number 1 tight end is Travis Kelce or Andrews from Baltimore. I mean, those are probably the 49ers tight end. What's his name? Forget his name.
Isn't Cooper Kupp a tight end? Or he's a wide receiver?
Cooper Kupp's wide receiver. No.
Let's go to the
Raiders. The Raiders. All right, Jeff. Well, they bring back. They sign a 4-year deal to Max Crosby. Their sack specialist. They sign into a 4-year, $98.98 million extension. They bring in Chandler Jones from the Cardinals. No, they paid this man as well. They're bolstering up that defense. And not only they bring those 2 guys in, re-sign Max Crosby, they brought in Chandler Jones. They get Davonte Adams from the Green Bay Packers. They traded Davonte Adams to the Oakland Raiders for a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick this year. They sign him to a ridiculous contract. 5-year, $141 million, $28.25 million per year, highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. I don't know what to think of this, Jeff. We traded him away. I said, "Oh, wow!" I was shocked. Like, really? We couldn't get a deal done. Then you learn, Jeff. You learn that we offered him more money than the Oakland Raiders. And he still said no. So good riddance. Good riddance. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. This guy, he wanted to set his lifelong dream as a player with the Raiders. He gets to hook up with his quarterback that he played with in college. But you downgraded quarterbacks, buddy. You left Aaron Rodgers to go play with Derek Carr is a downgrade. Look, I'm a little hurt a little bit by this. Davonte Adams is a fantastic wide receiver. And for all you Packer fans that are going out there and going, Davonte Adams is going to be a bum next season. Davonte Adams is a good wide receiver. He's not like he's going to drop off. Yes, I get it. Aaron Rodgers can make wide receivers who they are. Davonte Adams, route running ability. He has the best release of any wide receiver in the NFL. It's insane. He's going to be good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's a great pickup. This is a great move for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they believe in Derek Carr. They're finally get you won't have any head coach distractions here with John Gruden there anymore. They can move forward and see. They made these deals. They bolstered their defense as well, and they keep this offense together. And they might, Jeff, have the best wide receiver group in the division. They are fighting, battling for that. Davonte Adams, Hunter Renfro, Waller, their tight end's a beast. That's a good, solid
That's
group.
exactly why the Broncos are
man.
going after the secondary and bolstering up their secondary, and they're definitely gonna. That secondary is definitely not going to get worse. So I'll take the Denver Broncos secondary over their wide receiver crew any day, for sure. I will definitely, because I think that the secondary is a lot. The secondary for the Broncos are very good, and it's very tough. It was tough to throw against them last year, and I think it's going to be tough to throw against them this year. So, I mean, the Raiders are the Raiders. I look at it like this, will they find some screw up to mess something up? They tend to do it. They're very much like the Chargers. They tend to find some reason or some way to mess something up. And I just, it's a team I never trust because they're just one of those teams, it's just, it's the Raiders. They'll find some reason and some way to mess something up. So, I mean, great pickup. Davonte Adams, a great pickup. Chandler Jones, great pickup. What will it do? I don't know. Nobody really does. I think they'll be a little bit better, but you got to also understand Josh McDaniels is going to be the coach now. This is the second time.
We'll have
this
to
is
see
second time.
what he learned.
Did he learn from the first time? And so I don't know because he was pretty horrible as a coach. Pretty horrible. So it's we'll see. We'll see. I mean, this is on Josh McDaniels now. So he's pieces to play with. And if they don't get it done, something's wrong. So
yeah, we'll see. First year, it's hard to get it done the first year. I think it's great pickups. I think the Raiders got a lot better, and I do agree. They do. The Chargers especially find ways to lose football games.
The Raiders and Chargers always find a way to screw something up.
The Chargers are next, Jeff. The Chargers are next, and they already have a great quarterback. They signed Mike Williams. They re-signed to a 3-year, $60 million deal. Then they go out and trade for Khalil Mack. And to be honest, Khalil Mack's good. To be honest with you, it was a disappointing 3 or 4 years in Chicago. He had 1 year where he was Defensive Player of the Year, I think. But other than that, he really didn't do a whole lot. Maybe it was double teaming him. I don't know. But you add him on the other side of Bosa, and now you're looking at a pass threat. You're looking at a pass rush threat. He's a good player. He's getting up there in age, but I think he's going to be pretty good this year. I don't know how good. I don't know if this is as fantastic as some people are thinking it is. Because when we played against him in Green Bay, out of the first year, I wasn't really like, oh my gosh, we got to face Khalil Mack. It wasn't that. But maybe if you're adding him on the other side, like I said, a Bosa, then you're like, okay, I can see how Bosa might get a double team, and you leave Khalil Mack 1-on-1. That opens up some problem for the defense or for the for the quarterbacks. And then they bring in J.C. Jackson, cornerback from New England, really good quarterback that New England doesn't pay their players. So we went on over there, and there's just some good, solid moves to help out this good, solid team.
Yeah, Khalil Mack, I was surprised about the trade, but I had a feeling that once Russell Wilson got picked and these teams all saw that the fact that the Broncos got better, they had to keep up. So especially that the Broncos got better on the defensive line as well, they had to keep up. So it's interesting. I think the Khalil Mack is a little bit more of I think the Raiders made better moves. Personally,
I think the Raiders did too. Chandler Jones is a big pick. I think he's way better than Khalil Mack.
Better than Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack, you do run into some injuries, that's maybe creeping up because he's getting older. And I can say right now, if Khalil Mack gets hurt, this team's not going to be the same.
It's a good pickup. Is it as fantastic as I think people are thinking? Is
No.
huge? I don't think it is.
Here's the deal, though. I don't care what these two teams do; they screw something up every time. And I'll be honest with you. They're very much like, and I know we haven't talked about them yet, but they're very much like the Cowboys. They will find some way. The Raiders will find some way to mess up. You know what happened to the Chargers last year? They lost the freaking Raiders and missed the playoffs because they lost to the Raiders. Like,
because
it's just,
their quarterback called or their coach called the timeout, and that the Raiders were going to settle for the tie. And if they tied, they both went to the playoffs, but they called a timeout and they gave the Raiders a chance to win the game. That's
ridiculous. It's
that
just ridiculous. And it's just like but I'm telling you, these two teams are cursed. Get as much talent. I remember at one point the Raiders had they had a lot of talent on the team. And it was right when Checky, what's his name? The coach that they let go.
John Gruden.
Yeah, so John Gruden, when John Gruden was part of them, they had a great team. They had Khalil Mack, they had Amari Cooper, they had all these crazy talented players and did nothing.
They had one good year. We're like, oh man, the Raiders are back, and then
nothing, Brian. So I don't trust it. I don't trust them. The Broncos are definitely going to be beating the Chargers this year. I can assure that. Like, I think they beat them last year, and you know,
I think you split. I think you all split your division.
That's possible.
That's
so it's all right. I'm not too, the Chargers are definitely gonna charge it up. That's kind of what that's what they're known to do. So they don't scare me. I do think that the Broncos, the one other thing that the Broncos have that I don't think these teams have is a running threat. I don't think they have a lot of weapons in terms of running the ball, and the Broncos do. The guy we have that we could just hand off to and just maul over people is ridiculous. So it's just, there's a lot of things that I think the Broncos will have that can mix things up that these teams would struggle to know what we're going to do next. And the fact that you have the fact that you have Hackett, who is a young coach, he's not going to be afraid to make mistakes, and he runs the same kind of offense, that West Coast style, I think is going to be a huge difference in this. He's not going to be afraid to draw up the playbook in a way that's just crazy. You know what I mean? He's take chances, not like freaking the last offensive coordinator or whatever that we had that was calling plays, was just run, pass, run, pass, run. I mean, it was so like it's like, oh, it's third down and one. Guess what we're gonna do? Run. It's like, you could predict everything he was gonna do, and I don't think the Broncos are gonna be as predictable this year as these teams think. And I think these moves are made because they know that this team is going to be a lot more of a challenge this year. So all of a sudden you see the Chargers come out, you see the Oakland Raiders come out, you see, Kansas City as a wide receiver. Like you see where they're going because a lot of moves are made. And I'm going to be honest with you, none of this happens if it wasn't for freaking Mahomes. None of this, because these teams have to go up against Patrick Mahomes every season. And the Broncos, obviously, I don't think they get Russell Wilson if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes. I don't. He changed this entire division completely.
Well, that's good for you.
Makes every team. I'll tell you this much. To me, it seems like the Super Bowl runs through the West, the AFC West. It seems very. These teams are stacked.
Definitely could. No one saw the Bengals neck last year, though.
That's true.
You never know, and that's what we love about football. All right, Jeff, let's talk about your second favorite team here as we jump into the NFC East. We're jumping over the NFC, my side of the football, the Dallas Cowboys. This is Jeff's second favorite football team.
It definitely is. It definitely
so
is.
Jeff, oh man, what a debacle of an offseason the Dallas Cowboys have had. And I talked to my buddy Ryan. I was like, dude, this is a debacle. He's like, no, it's not yet. It isn't. No, it's a debacle. You lose. First of all, the whole Randy Gregory debacle of we have him and then we don't. That was laughable. You trade Amari Cooper for 5th and 6th. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to get much for him because you're going to cut him. And the Browns knew that. And they said, we'll throw you immediately 5th and 6th for your number 1 wide receiver. And I think that's their biggest loss this year. And I know I told you I had my problems with Amari
They
Cooper.
got CeeDee Lamb still.
Look, I told you, Jeff, I had my problems with Amari Cooper. But I heard a stat the other day that made me cringe, and it's got to make the Cowboy fans think. Here it is, Jeff. Dak Prescott's QBR when Amari Cooper is on the field is a 65. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Without Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott's QBR is a 35. Oh! And you just traded this man away? He made your quarterback that much better? That's a big concern for the Dallas Cowboys. Look, you lost Amari Cooper. You still got CeeDee Lamb. You signed back Michael Gallup. That's who you're replacing, basically.
Re-signing. So
yeah, you're re-signing him, giving him a deal. He just tore his Achilles last year, so was his Achilles ACL? I think it was ACL, or he tore his ACL. So you're hoping that he comes back healthy. Then always come back the same after that. So that's what you're hoping. They ended up signing a one-year deal with James Washington, who's out of Pittsburgh, and I like that pickup. He is a solid number 3 wide receiver. You brought back in Dalton Schultz. You keep DeMarcus Lawrence, which if they lost DeMarcus Lawrence as well, Jeff, this would have been like, oh my gosh, they were actually able to bring him back and sign him back. As they asked him to take a pay cut, he said no. Dante Fowler they bring in. I don't really think he's that great. Leighton Vander Esch, they sign him back on a 1-year cheap deal. This is a guy that they were gonna just let go, but since Gregory left, they're like, well, we got to bring back somebody. And I know they don't play the same position, but you just got to bring back and fill up the defense. Brought him back. Malik Hooker resigns. I don't know, Jeff. It's just are the Dallas Cowboys better than they were last year after this offseason? No. and that's just straight up.
Granted, now, I will say the offseason is still on. Free agency
is still on.
Maybe after the Deshaun Watson thing, everyone's going to start falling onto place and getting
if they go out and signs Darius Smith as a pass rusher, I'll say okay, that's a pretty good signing. That's actually a really good sign. It's a pretty good offseason. But you lose your number 1 wide receiver, and I get it. They can fill that hole with Lamb, and that
maybe somebody in the draft.
That puts a lot of pressure on Lamb. That Lamb gets the double coverages now. Michael Gallup's got to be able to get open. They bring back Dalton Schultz, which is the blanket for Dak Prescott. James Washington is a good pickup. I do like that one. That this Zeke contract's killing them.
It is
cap-wise.
It is.
They don't use Pollard enough. This is not a better football team than they were last season. This is a team, Jeff, that they talked about. I've heard it on the radio. They were getting outpriced for their 3rd wide receiver as he went to Miami. They can't afford their Pro Bowl kicker.
Probably, yeah.
Like, what? What are we talking about? So, I don't know. Just not a very good offseason there for the Dallas Cowboys. And if this is all that they bring in, you're a worse football team because of this.
So here's the rumor.
You lost a couple offensive linemen as well.
Here's the rumor, Brian. I'll explain this something to you. The rumor is that the Cowboys are going to tank this year. And the reason that they're going to tank is because they're getting ready for Mr. Sean Payton. I'm like, what kind of nonsense does that say? So let's tank and then fire McCarthy in the hopes that Sean Payton is our savior and bringing us back to the promised land.
Look, this is just bad money management. This is paying a running back all the money you did, and he's not worth it. This is why you don't pay running backs, Jeff. You don't do it. Green Bay did it. But Aaron Jones is way better than Zeke Elliott nowadays.
The only times you do it if it's a team-friendly deal. It's a team-friendly deal. So,
but this is not a better football team, Jeff. Now, look, they can get away with it because their division's garbage. And was it the worst division in the league last year? It wasn't, surprisingly. But this division's crap, and it's hard to tank when you should go 6-0 against your division. Okay, that's the problem. We talk about this all the time, Jeff. To beat the best, you got to play, or to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? Well, when you're playing 6 easy games a year because your division's bad, and I think this is a problem with Green Bay too. Our division's crap, so we go get the number 1 seed, and then we're like, oh, we're the number 1 seed. We'll take this week off, and then we go play a team, and I'm like, oh, we lose to the 49ers. Well, the 49ers have been playing playoff games for the last 5 weeks. Okay, they've had to win to get these in. It's kind of the same with Dallas Cowboys. They have an easy division. They were 12-5 last year, I believe, but they go into the playoffs and they play a team that's hungry, and they fall flat. And this is, I don't know. And we're gonna get into a lot next week on some questions and answers about this season. And I got a lot to get into on Dallas and Dak Prescott, Jeff. So we'll save all this hating, or what you don't want anyone call it hating, some facts or whatever we want to talk about next week. But let's go on down to the Giants, and the Giants are also another team like the Houston Texans, where I could probably just skip on down because they're garbage. They signed
Tyrod Taylor. 2 years.
This team's a joke, Jeff. All right, let's go ahead and keep on skipping down. Oh, another joke of a football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. All right. Who they signed? They cut Fletcher Cox, and then they signed him back on a team-friendly deal, saved him some cap space. Who else did they get? They made their center, Kelsey. They signed him back. Nothing. Let's continue down to the Washington, the Commanders. They decide, well, they couldn't get in. Sorry, the Eagles and the Commanders both couldn't get Russell Wilson to cancel his trade clause. They had a better trade package, but Russell said, "You're too crap for me to go there." So they pick up a flyer on poor Carson Wentz coming back to the division. He gets to face the Dallas Cowboys twice a year. He gets to face his Eagles twice a year. Probably get booed when he goes to Philadelphia, and he gets to fail at another football team. This isn't a good football team. They have a good defense. They have a defense that can get to the quarterback. They have a good wide receiver. They got no quarterback. I'm out on Carson Wentz. That's it. It's another mediocre year for the Washington Commanders, my bad. Commies. What are we calling these guys, Jeff? What are we calling these guys?
Oh, God.
Well,
I actually like the Washington football team. That actually pretty hilarious. I would have kept it as that.
The football team, yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't like the Commanders. I would have gone with the Red Wolves. I like that; those are pretty sweet. But the I don't know. I just don't like it. Let's go into my division, Jeff. It's not very good either. You got the Chicago Bears, Jeff. Okay, they didn't do anything. They got rid of people. They must be tanking. They did no help for their quarterback. Oh, my bad. Okay, Jeff. I got to point this out the other day. So there's a guy that came to Green Bay for a couple years, wasted our time, did nothing for us, right? His name is Equanimus St. Brown, Jeff. I see that his wife the other day is like, can you please tell Packer fans to quit messaging us? We're not coming back to Green Bay. I don't know what Packer fans are begging this guy to come back because he absolutely was trash. I don't know if she's making this up. This guy did nothing for us. Nothing. He's going to leave our team, and it's not even going to leave a dent in our offense. And we don't have any wide receivers right now, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
So the Bears have done nothing. They just lost Allen Robinson. He goes over to the Rams. Nothing. You look at Detroit, Jeff. The Detroit Laughingstock Lions. Okay. And I do. Hey, look, they did compete last year. They lost a lot of close games. They competed with some tough teams. But they didn't do much either. They don't bring any really good people over. No one wants to go play in Detroit. They re-signed their backup quarterbacks. They don't know. They got to figure out what they're doing. Jared Goff. I don't think they know. So let's go on down to Green Bay, Jeff.
God.
The Green Bay Packers sign Aaron Rodgers. We all know he decides to stay. He says, it's not all about the money, guys. He says, reports that I want $50 million a year is false. And then he comes out and signs a $50 million a year contract. What in the world? Okay. Look, I've told you guys before, I would rather have traded Aaron Rodgers. Time to move on. We signed him. All right, I got to be on board. It's fantastic to have an MVP, an elite wide receiver, or elite quarterback on your team. I'm jumping on board with it because I got nothing else I can do, right? We're going to keep Allen Lazard. I really like Lazard. He's very underrated for this team. We traded away Davonte Adams. We have 3 picks in the first 60 this year, Jeff. 2 first-round picks and 1 high second-round pick as well. So that will help us pick hopefully a wide receiver or maybe 2. We need some wide receiver help. But losing Davonte Adams is saving us cap space. We were able to sign back inside linebacker Devondre Campbell. Campbell last year was the highest rated inside linebacker. We picked him up off the street last season, and he was the highest rated middle linebacker in the league, or inside linebacker in the league. Fantastic. We were able to keep him. We signed Preston Smith to a 4-year extension. He is decent. He needs to be more consistent. He'll have 1 year where he's fantastic. Next year he's up and down, but he's on the other side of Rashawn Gary, who's a beast. We had to let Darius Smith go. He's our best pass rusher, but due to cap issues, we owed him a lot of money. We signed Pat O'Donnell, Jeff, the Bears kicker, because we didn't want to keep our own. Would I say the Green Bay Packers are better? Oh, my bad. We also signed today Rasool Douglas, trading away Davonte Adams to open up that money. We were able to sign Rasool Douglas as a guy that we got last year, week 3, off of the Cardinals practice squad. He was one of the highest rated defensive players in the NFL. He actually was the guy that caught the interception against the Cardinals on the team he used to be on to win that game for Green Bay. He was fantastic last season. We were able to sign him to a 3-year deal. That was fantastic news. We're able to keep this defense together, Jeff. That was my worry. Now we got to do some work, Jeff. Brian Gutekunst, our GM, has to do some work of finding free agent wide receivers. I hope maybe we get Javaris Landry from the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people are saying send a first-round pick over there to get DJ Metcalf from Seattle. We've got to do something because our best.
I could see DJ Metcalf. That would be pretty interesting.
Seattle is on. They're selling their team right now.
They are.
Rebuild. I would send a first-round draft pick over there for DJ Metcalf. We are looking to sign back MVS. I'm not a big fan of MVS. He drops a lot of balls. He's a fast guy and get down the field. He drops a lot of footballs. If we lose him, whatever. We sign him back, whatever. We need a lot of help on offense. Our best wide receiver right now, Jeff, when you go look at the statistics, is Randall Cobb. And that's not good. We signed back Robert Tonyan, who tore his ACL last year. We don't know how good he's going to be. Look, Aaron Rodgers is going to win us games because he's Aaron Rodgers. Matt LaFleur, 8-0 without Davonte Adams playing. It forces Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball around. We have one of the best 1-2 running backs in the league. 1-2 punches. We'll still win games. We'll still win our division. Can we get over the hump? That's the question. If you were to ask me sincerely, are we better than we were last year because of this offseason? So far, I would tell you no. Would I say it's disappointing? Ryan said, your offseason hasn't been that well. Well, heck, I don't know about you, but re-signing our MVP quarterback sounds like a win in my position,
Well,
right?
yeah, it is.
Um,
It assures it
yeah,
assures you to get to at least have a chance. That's the whole thing. That's one of the most important positions on the offense is the quarterback for sure.
it's the most important
Especially
position in football.
right. And well,
Um,
yeah, and plus you want to have some weapons for him to throw to. The
yeah.
question that everyone will need to understand is Aaron Rodgers going to trust those weapons? And
Well, look, when it came,
hopefully, if they get anybody in the draft, hopefully these guys are great because I mean he's gonna require them to be perfect.
yeah,
And they start dropping balls,
and
running
it's high
route
standard.
wrong, right?
There's a guy from I think it's Ohio State. It's his last name's Olave, Olave. He's really good. I want him. He'll probably go before we can pick. Um, we got to get somebody. We got to spend a first round draft pick or high second on a good wide receiver. I don't think we're done in free agency. I think we're gonna go look and try and get a wide receiver. I would have liked to get the wide receiver Robinson from Chicago, but he's gonna want too much money for us to be able to pay him. So look, Aaron Rodgers' contract is huge. It did open up a lot of cap room for us this year. Getting rid of Davonte Adams opened up $20 million of cap. So we do have some money now. It wasn't looking very good, but we made the moves we needed to make. We restructured deals. We were able to sign Preston Smith. Our next biggest one is being able to sign Jair Alexander. And before Davonte Adams left, we were looking to have the highest paid quarterback, the highest paid wide receiver, and then if we sign Jair Alexander, he will be the highest paid cornerback. And you can't win that way. When three guys take up all the money, you ain't winning.
yeah,
Look, Davonte Adams will hurt our offense. Am I totally upset he's left? I am not, because he didn't want to be here. If he wanted to be here, he would have stayed with the same money. He didn't want to be here. Rodgers knew he didn't want to be here and wasn't going to return before Rodgers signed that contract. So it doesn't make me question about Aaron Rodgers wanting to be here or not. Obviously, he wants to be here if he signed the deal. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, they're able to get somebody in the draft, like I said, and help us on the offensive side. But yeah, that's Green Bay for you. Minnesota Vikings, Jeff. They're the last one in our division. They sign a 1-year deal for Kirk Cousins, so he will be back for at least one more season. And other than that, they didn't really add anybody. Their offense looks really good. They've got a stout offense. I'm just not a big believer in Kirk Cousins, and I don't know if they are either. But what's their other option? Baker Mayfield. So they sign him back. NFC South, Jeff. The Atlanta Falcons. Me and you both thought Deshaun Watson was going there. I said, man, he's going to go to the Falcons, make Matt Ryan retire or go somewhere else. Well, that didn't happen. Their biggest pickup is bringing back Cordell Patterson, and it wasn't even a pickup. They just brought him back. They brought in Casey Hayward. Casey Hayward's a good pickup. They signed a 1-year deal with Casey Hayward, cornerback. Cordell Patterson had a one heck of a season last year, and they brought him back. He's under a running back. He's also plays wide receiver and tight end. So he plays all three positions. He does a little bit of everything. He had a breakout year last year, and I think he really liked playing for him. Casey Hayward's good. They re-signed their kicker, Young Ho Koo, for a 5-year deal. He's a good kicker. Let's jump on down to Carolina. I don't know if you have anything to add to Atlanta.
the only thing is the awkwardness now.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
The awkwardness for Matt Ryan, knowing that they were on the verge of getting Deshaun Watson, and then Matt Ryan had to hear that.
Yeah,
and then now it's like, what an awkward freaking situation. But other than that, I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure he'll probably he may not do
retires at the end of this year. This guy's old.
Yeah. Weird.
The Carolina Panthers is also a team that Deshaun Watson said, I do not want to go to. They re-signed DJ Moore for a 3-year contract. He's really good. One of the most underrated wide receivers in the league, in my opinion. They brought in some other people, but Xavier Woods, okay, they signed to a 3-year deal. He's kind of older. Nothing really that's gonna make you go, the Panthers are a better football team. New Orleans Saints, they bring in nothing. They got 2 guys. That's it. Who's your quarterback? New Orleans is a big debacle after Sean Payton left, and your division,
Baker Mayfield.
Your division really hasn't gotten any better. Oh wait, it has. Tom Brady's freaking back. He's freaking back. Anyways, yeah. So New Orleans isn't there. Maybe Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
The big news: Tom Brady's back. And no, I did not say the F word a while ago. I said Mackin. Tom Brady's back, guys. Oh, the dreaded Tom Brady. We all hate you. We all respect you. Well, some of us do. I respect you. I just hate you. It's coming out of retirement. They signed back Chris Godwin. Brashard Perriman signs there for a 1-year deal. Logan Ryan. I don't know what else. I mean, is Rob Krakowski coming back? Is Gronk
I'm sure he
coming
will.
back?
I'm sure he will.
I'm sure he will.
Why would he not?
I think Tom Brady, either one, got tired of his wife and kids in 2 months and said, I'm out of here. Or he said, well, all the quarterbacks are in the AFC now, so I get to go and just face up against Aaron Rodgers, who chokes in the playoffs anyways, and Matthew Stafford, who wasn't he was good, but it was good enough to win last year. It was his defense, in my opinion. Tom Brady's back. Tampa Bay will be as good as they were last year. Tom Brady was the runner-up for the MVP. I didn't think he was going to retire, but he did, and obviously he unretired, and yeah, it's just.
I think everybody in the NFC wept when they heard that news.
Well, look at their. If you look at their division, they're all it's trash. Atlanta Falcons aren't good. Their best wide receiver just got suspended for a whole season for betting on football games. Carolina doesn't know who the heck their quarterback is. Their team is in shambles, and the Saints is probably the. I don't even know, Jeff. They're probably the New York Jets right now, and the Jets know what their quarterback is. Who's the Saints quarterback? They gonna sign Jameis Winston back, or is it going? I don't know. So
Drew Brees is coming back out of retirement.
Tom Brady came back and goes, man, I could win 7 games and win our division. Sign me up. All right, that's an easy playoff push for Tom Brady. That might be the new worst division in football.
Yeah, and now the Cowboys have to worry about Tom Brady. Green Bay has to worry about Tom Brady.
The Rams have to worry about Tom Brady. Let's jump into the NFC West, the division that was supposed to, is another tough division, except now they might not be with Russell Wilson gone. But I digress. The Arizona Cardinals, they re-signed Colt McCoy in a 2-year contract to be a backup quarterback. Also, let's not forget the debacle of an offseason, not of a debacle, but a the turmoil there between quarterback and team of Kyle Murray and this football team. We were all wondering, is he going to be back next season? So he will be back. They did add Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is not that good anymore.
Used to be good.
He used to be really good. They signed James Conner. They lost their best pass rusher. Is TJ Watt coming back, Jeff? I don't know. I'm guessing he is. I don't know. It was more than a 1-year deal, but I don't know. Is he going to be healthy? Probably not. Their defense got worse. They're hoping that DeAndre Hopkins can stay healthy all year. So
yeah,
something to look into there. And I just think this team was a fluke this last year, and I do think they'll fall to the well, they can't fall to the bottom. The bottom of the division is going to be Seattle, but they'll probably be 3rd best in the division, and they won't be anywhere good as they were last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I still think their coaches are really good, but
And well, then they lost Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
They're never over 1,000 yards wide receiver. That got paid like one.
Yeah.
So the Rams, Jeff, let's jump into the Rams here. They just came off Super Bowl. You know, they re-signed Matthew Stafford today. They gave him a 3 or 4 year extension. They signed Allen Robinson from the Bears. The guy I wish Green Bay could have got. He was going to want too much money. Signed a 3 year, $46.5 million. That includes, 30.7 fully guaranteed. They keep finding money even though we thought they had none. They right, they're supposed to be in this mess that the Packers are in type of situation, but they're finding money to bring in Allen Robinson. OBJ is still Odell Beckham has played a big role in them and helping them win the Super Bowl. He's still in the free agent market. Do they bring him back? He tore his ACL again. Same ACL he tore last time. Is he going to be the same wide receiver? I think that's why teams are kind of hesitant, and they don't really have to pick him up right now. You can pick him up mid-season if you wanted to. He probably won't be able to play until the end of the next year, so that's not looking good for them. But that's their biggest sign. They re-signed their center, and they re-signed Joe Noteboom, their offensive tackle, for 3 years.
There's not much they need to really do. I mean, they
Right?
got rid of. I mean, Von
Exactly.
Miller left, but I do think that they will. And they'll be fine. And I think, obviously, I mean, I don't know what their draft looks like, but I don't know if they even have any picks. So,
Yeah. Well, they're also a team I want to talk about next week when we get into the spotlight of the week. I got some big questions for this team and some stuff people aren't really talking about with this team when it comes to the way they draft or don't draft, and trade away first round picks. But yeah, it's interesting. There's not much they need to do. They just won the Super Bowl.
yeah.
It's just kind of okay. What one piece do we need here? What one piece do we need there? Keep this team together and run it back. The San Francisco 49ers. Why do they still have Jimmy Garoppolo, Jeff? They've been trying to trade this guy for 5 years now. It seems like, and poor Jimmy. I don't know. Maybe are they keeping him? Maybe Trey Lance isn't ready? I don't know. They really haven't done anything. They let one of their best running backs go.
Garoppolo to maybe a 3-team
Indianapolis?
trade. Maybe a 3-team trade. Garoppolo can go to New Orleans. And the Browns trade Baker Mayfield to the 49ers.
No, I think Indianapolis is a really good a place for him to go. And I'm not saying he's going to have. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to win Super Bowl anywhere he goes. He came close. He's not very good. I think though that Indy would probably prefer a guy like Jimmy over Baker because Baker seems to
maybe
be
a
more
3-team trade with the Colts. Jimmy goes to the Colts, and then the 49ers give up a player or draft picks and grab Baker. Because I don't really think the Browns are wanting too much for. I mean, I don't know if they're wanting too much for Baker or not, but
they're not going to be able to get much now. I mean,
yeah.
The 49ers though they have their quarterback already. They don't need.
Oh, that's right. That's true. That's right.
So it just depends on if they think he's ready. Is he ready to start this season? Who knows, right? But you got to pull that trigger at one point.
You gotta. Yeah, I want to see what he's made of.
Exactly. I think we all do. He's got a rocket arm. He can move out of the pocket. I think he has potential. They didn't really do much for him as far as bringing anybody in. They let a good running back go. So we'll see what they look like. But this team's going to be decent as long as they stay healthy. They got to get their cornerbacks and their safeties were all hurt last year. A lot of them. I mean, they were bringing guys off the street to play. And Aaron Rodgers couldn't score any touchdowns on that. But anyways, besides the point. So let's look at Seattle. I think this is the last team we have. Obviously, they're. I don't know what to say, Jeff. They traded away Russell Wilson for nobody. They're going to use those draft picks, and maybe they may if their draft pick turns into the next Russell Wilson or elite quarterback, then I guess maybe not. Drew Luck's not the guy. We know that. Noah Fant's going to come in and be able to help this offense. Shelby Harris is going to be able to help this defense. But what really are they? This team's going to be the worst in the division. They chose a old, broken head coach over an elite quarterback, Jeff.
Who's 33 years of age, by the way.
Yeah, it's not like he's 48.
This is a guy who's probably going to be in the league for another 8 to 10 years.
You know,
how long is Pete Carroll going to be in?
Oh my gosh. Pete Carroll, Jeff, I cannot stand the guy. Okay. His philosophy is hard-nosed defense, run the ball, and good special teams. That's his game plan. All right. Newsflash, guys. Okay. Everyone wants to play good defense. That's not something that, that only Pete Carroll can do. You got to throw the ball. I swear. I saw Seattle play the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, and I said if Pete Carroll let Russell Wilson throw the ball, the Dallas Cowboys would lose this football game. But no, hand the ball off, and when it's 3rd and 12, Russell, please save us. Who in their right mind, Jeff, chooses a head coach over an elite quarterback? I don't get it. If I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, I'm pulling my hair out. I don't get it.
They're gonna. It's rebuild. It's 100% rebuild, people. 100%.
Someone, it was RJ from the 105 through the fan that said that basically that Pete Carroll has lucked his way into 2 Super Bowl appearances. He's lucked his way. It's how he's bad. He lucked his way into the Legion of Boom, who won them. He won him a Super Bowl and made him the head coach everyone thinks he is. And then they went back, and then because he decided to pass the ball he went against all instincts and passed the ball on the 1-yard line and lost the game. I'm a loss for words on this team. They are definitely way worse than they were last year, and it's going to be a long season for Seattle fans next year.
One day, Woo! They're going to have to go to Pete Carroll and they're going to have to do this.
You're fired!
What? Yes. That's exactly what Seahawk fans are thinking at this very moment. Get him out of here.
I'm throwing up if I am the Seahawks fans. That's I didn't think. Well, I actually said that they were going to be dumb enough to pick a head coach over a elite quarterback, and I was right. And they did, and they made a dumb decision. If they didn't, you've got to get to the Deshaun Watson deal. You get 3 first-round picks, at least 2 2s, a 3rd, and a 4th. They wanted players to help their rebuild. Why? We got a quarterback we know is nobody. You got a tight end who, this tight end could be here through your rebuild, but you got nobody.
Yeah.
Oh man, who's your quarterback? Is Locke the guy, or is he going to fight with their backup? I don't even know the backup quarterback.
I don't know. Rumor has it that they were actually in on Locke, and the Broncos got him.
Oh, so they think they can fix him?
Yes.
Oh man, so that's pathetic. Pathetic. All right, Jeff. Well, that's going to be it. We wrapped up the free agency so far. Some things could still happen. It's not over yet. We've had some shockers. This is one of the best free agencies we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Some shockers, some surprises. Let us know if we're off. Let us know if you think that the Dallas Cowboys had an awesome offseason. Let us know if you think the Denver Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl or not. Let us know whatever you want to let us know about these opinions that we have. We probably have a lot of angry Cowboy fans or angry Eagle fans or Houston Texans fans, and we've totally dismissed their football teams. I don't know, but this is called the Outspoken Sportscast for a reason. All right, Jeff. Well, it is that time. It is that time of the podcast where I ask you, my friend, what is in your locker?
Just work, and went and saw the Batman movie, and that was happened a couple weeks ago. Maybe I don't know if I talked about it or not, but and so yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. I went to an IMAX, saw that in theaters, had some fun. It's a great movie. It's a different Batman movie, the most different Batman movie I've ever seen in my life, which is really cool and refreshing. I've been got Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 5. Excellent game. Been playing that. It's by far graphically one of the most insane games I've ever played. I did subscribe to the EA Origin thing, and yes, I did download Madden, unfortunately, because I had to play as Russell Wilson and download the updated roster. So that was pretty cool. And so other than that, just been chilling out. I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately, a lot of AEW wrestling, which is kind of cool. And me and my wife been watching it, which is pretty cool to kind of start watching that again. And it feels kind of like what it used to feel like back in, the era of The Rock and Stone Cold and all that kind of stuff. It's the first time I've ever thought that, which is pretty cool. Wrestling before that, was just absolute garbage. I watched it to laugh at it because it was just trash. And so this is actually really exciting, and I've been paying attention to that a little bit more. Baseball, I've been just kind of paying attention to what the Yankees are doing. They're doing something interesting. I think there's supposed to be some kind of move going on with Oakland. They're wanting to grab some talented arms from Oakland. And then they did get their prospect, Volpe or whatever. Volpe. He's number 8 in overall prospects at shortstop. The dude is insane. I'm excited to see maybe a little bit more inside this new agreement with the owners for the baseball. You do get the obvious opportunity to see the up and coming talent sooner. I think it's in that agreement that they do at some point have to bring them up to AAA and up to the majors. So maybe we actually will see some of these guys come up faster, which is kind of cool. So again, for the Yankees to have another prospect in the top 10 out of 100, prospects is pretty insane. So that I'm paying attention to. Maverick playoff basketball. I'm trying to pay attention to a little bit more. I think this year, me and my wife are going to be watching playoff basketball. She said she wanted to start watching it again. So we will definitely be paying attention to that. Brian probably won't. So other than that, I am ecstatic about the Broncos. I am ecstatic about this football team. I'm ecstatic to have some prime time games again. The Broncos should be prime time games. I think primetime games most are going to consist of our division, which is insane. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes with this team. I want to know who the owner is. I hope we get that figured out. I did read some article. It was a little weird. Some legal thing is happening with the ownership stuff, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But they need to get this ownership situation figured out before the season. I do not want to start the season with no owner and not knowing what's going on. But other than that, I've been playing some games, chilling out, watched some movies, some shows, just trying to chill out. Working a lot. I've gotten really good, getting better at work and understanding everything a little bit better and enjoy it. Every day it's interesting and there's always a new challenge. So kept me on my toes and all that stuff. My mom, she's about to stop. Her work's about to lay her off. She does a seasonal job, so she works a lot at one point during the year, and then she kind of gets laid off and then does her own thing. So we're probably gonna go around be at my mom's more coming into the next few months, helping her out, clearing out her land. My wife's going to go over there for a whole week to help her organize her home. My mom's going to be putting her home on the market, and then she's going to have builders go out and build a home on some land. So it's going to be a lot going on this summer with my mom and trying to figure out that. Plus my little sister, the littlest sister that I have, and I have 3, is graduating. So she is graduating high school in May. So there's going to be a whole thing for her here pretty soon. So it's going to be very cool to see her kind of grow up and get and move out of the house. And she's still going to school, but I think she's going to do online, which is kind of cool because she gets to do her own thing and still work and stuff like that. So, but yeah, other than that, man, that's what's going on. I'm excited for this season. I cannot wait for the Broncos. Baseball's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to get MLB The Show. I definitely want to be playing some co-op with you on and go up against some people online. That would be cool. As long as MLB The Show can get their latency down a little bit. Online's a little weird sometimes. But other than that, man, that's all that's in my locker. What's in yours, Brian?
Oh, dang it. Muted mic. My bad, guys. My bad. I saw you make I thought you were talking about a mustache. I'm like, what's in my mustache? My bad, Jeff. Well, that sounds awesome for you. A lot of stuff going on there. We actually just started a vacation. And I did a staycation this last week, so we stayed at home and just hung out. Really, I went and saw Batman. And Jeff, it is I made it my mind. It's my favorite Batman ever made. I'm gonna take that one over the Dark Knight. I think this Batman it's my type of style. I think it is more of your type of style too, Jeff, when it comes to Batman and the darkness of it. And I highly recommend it. Go watch it. I think Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job as being the Batman, and I think he might be my favorite Batman too as well. Great story. 3 hours, but it's 3 hours of it's intense. It's hook, line, and sinker every hour of it, man. It's really good, really fantastic the way they did this, Jeff. I actually went and saw it again today. I took Logan to go see it. He hadn't seen it. He actually hadn't seen any Batman movies. I said, "What?" So I went and saw this one. So he really liked it as well. And I told him, if you don't watch any other ones, you have to go watch The Dark Knight. That one's also a fantastic Batman to watch. We took the girls to the zoo. We got zoo passes for Christmas, and we took them out to the zoo the other day and got those. And that was a fun time. I've been spending time with the kids. I try to teach, that moment where you got to teach your kid how to ride a bike without the training wheels today. So I started that with Darla. So those are those little milestones that you reach with each kid, and getting to do it for the first time today as a father makes me happy. We've been watching Peacemaker television show from HBO Max. It is funny. It is actually really good. John Cena does a really good job on it. It's stupid, but it's funny. We finished that episode the other day. I've been playing. Well, I actually started playing Call of Duty again, so trying to get better at that. MLB The Show, Jeff. Cannot wait for it. We'll be playing some of that as well. I don't know if I'm downloading Madden though. It's gonna take a lot for me to waste some more money on that video game that we call football. You're right, Jeff. I did actually sit down a couple nights ago and watched a doubleheader of basketball, two fantastic basketball games. Trying to get back into that. I'm actually trying to start getting into hockey some more and the Dallas Stars. NBA playoffs is going to be interesting. We're going to see if the Lakers can make it or not. They're pretty pathetic though, so I don't, and I kind of hope they don't. And we'll see what transpires from that. But I'm ready for baseball, buddy. I need to go to the Texas Ranger Stadium this year, see a couple games there. I go back to work on Monday, so I do miss it. You do miss work every now and then. You're like, I'm ready to go back, but And then when we go on vacation in June, we're actually going to go somewhere in Texas, probably the beach in Galveston, and visit down there. But other than that, I got my cornhole boards in, baby. I don't have them in here. They're too big to be in here. I was going to see if I can pull up a picture of them real quick because they are fantastic. They are cornhole boards of the show. Here they are right here. Let me see them. They got our logo on it. There's lights in the hole. The OS Pod, Outspoken Sportscast. Tipsy Texan Woodwork is the guy I used to make these custom works of art, and they're fantastic. Highly recommend them. They were only $250, which is a big deal when you got lights and these boards because they're usually $400 or $500. So I highly recommend them. He's here in Texas as well. So he did a fantastic job there. So I've been playing on those bad boys. I love to play me some cornhole. And other than that, Jeff, I'm just looking forward to NFL free agency, buddy.
Oh yeah. It's just it's kind of interesting that we get to do this and communicate with everybody. And I think what's really cool is especially this segment, because we get to kind of talk about whatever, for a little bit. So talk about a little bit of games, talk about a little bit of movies, talk about a little bit of shows, and so on and so forth, and our life stuff and things like that. So let's just not spoil it for anybody, but you did catch the tease at the end of the movie, right?
Oh,
Batman.
The end scene?
The end
of the
scene.
Credits. Or the end scene. No. Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
I definitely did.
Okay.
And
it's interesting. It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
It's
Guys,
very interesting.
Go watch Batman. It is fantastic. I watched it the first time, and I said, I left. I was like, man, I got to talk to somebody about this. I made my wife. She wanted to go watch it. I made my wife go watch it Thursday. I watched it Monday. I made her go watch it Thursday so I could talk to somebody about it. She thought it was really well done as well. It honestly, it's the Batman we've been looking for.
Yeah,
honestly, it's super dark,
super real,
super real. The Batmobile was awesome. I thought the Penguin was well done. The Riddler was well done. It was fantastic. They got some really good actors to play these characters. Catwoman's actor.
Excellent.
What's her name?
Zoe Kravitz.
Yes. Lenny Kravitz's daughter. Fantastic movie, guys. You have to go watch it. It kind of, the end scene kind of tells you who's going to be in the next one. We don't know.
And that's the thing is we don't know if it's going to be the next one or not. And I think the director mentioned that, but go watch it. It's very good. Yes. It's very interesting.
I don't want to ruin it.
Also, what's interesting is get ready. There is going to supposedly be a 6-episode or 6-part Penguin show on HBO Max.
No way.
Supposedly it's going to be interesting and diving deep into the Penguin and everything else. So, and that was a really cool character too. And I'd like to know more about him. So, yeah,
I thought it was great detective work. I thought it was great written. They had, you didn't know when you find out at the very end of the movie what's going on. You didn't know the whole time. You're like, oh, well, this or that or this. And Batman and Gordon get it wrong at some point. They guess and they're wrong. And you're like, oh man, and it's fantastic.
It's intense. Fantastic. Go watch it. Highly suggested.
Oh, so good, so good. I love that movie. I love it so much. I've watched it again just today. What else? I'm trying to think of what other shows. I've watched the 1883 on Paramount. I've watched, I'm pretty much caught up on everything. Euphoria's out. I haven't watched that one. I don't know what it's about, but if you want to watch Peacemaker, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, it's pretty good.
He's from Suicide Squad, right?
Yes, he's from Suicide Squad. We actually watched that movie a couple weeks ago, and then this one's it's a show about Peacemaker, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good and funny. It's got comedy relief in there, and John Cena did a really good job of acting, and it's good in it. He's good in that, so go watch those shows. I love HBO right now. They've been putting out a lot of good stuff. And have you seen Turning Red, Jeff? The new
No.
Disney movie. I know you don't have any kids. I've watched that one. It's okay. There's a lot of hoopla on the internet about it and how bad it's not good for your children to watch it. I didn't have a problem with it, but maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
Oh, and also we do have confirmation that Beetlejuice is coming back.
Do we? Nice.
Beetlejuice is coming back, and Michael Keaton that played Beetlejuice is going to play Beetlejuice again. Tim Burton has said that's the idea, is that they are going to do a second movie, which is insane.
Yes,
because I loved the first movie. I loved it so much.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch. It's been so long.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
We have another Harry Potter movie
and a game
out. It looks really good. We have the new Doctor Strange movie. Looks fantastic. Can't wait for that one to come out. There's an Elvis Presley movie coming out, and it looks fantastic with Tom Hanks in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just some good movies coming out. I love going to the theater, so we love this kind of stuff.
Stranger Things comes out in a few months.
Yes, finally. I hate waiting. That's what I hate. And then we'll binge it in like 2 days. And be like, all right, we got to wait 4 years. So, but all right, guys. Right. Well, that is it for this episode. It's been a long one. It's been about the NFL. We broke down every team for you. Some of them we discounted, whatever. But next week's episode is going to be fantastic as well. Come listen to us. We are on YouTube. We live stream each time to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and now Twitch. Right, Jeff? We on Twitch right now? We're also on Twitch. Fantastic news for us. Fantastic news for you. If you can't watch us live, don't want to look at our ugly mugs on this video camera, then you can listen to us in your ear holes on all the podcast major platforms. Every major platform: Apple, Google, iHeartRadio. What's the Spotify. I always forget the green one. I'm like, what's the green one? Sounds like butterfly. Spotify, whatever. Anyways, we're on all those platforms. Come take a listen. It's all sports related. And then at the end of the episode, we do a What's in Our Locker episode. You get to learn a little bit about what we've been doing through the week. You can email us at outspokensportscast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you want us to talk about anything, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on all that and more. So come find us. Come listen to us if you like sports. We love to talk sports and talk about gaming and movies and whatnot. So that's it, Jeff. That is this episode. We are on episode number 106, the NFL Free Agency. Hope you liked our breakdown. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about next.
All right. Well, take care, everyone. Have a good day.
And God bless.
Week. God bless. Have a good week.
Have a good week. There you go.
All right. Bye.
Bye.